Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into the future of psychotherapy.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, right? And to guide us, we've got this chapter from a psychotherapy textbook. And you know what's really cool about this chapter is that it actually includes a Delphi poll.
A Delphi poll.
Yeah, so it's like they got like 70 leading psychotherapy experts.
Oh, wow.
And they asked them to predict what they thought mental health care would look like in the next decade.
So it's basically like we're looking into a crystal ball.
Yeah, exactly. It's a glimpse into the future.
I love it.
And I think what's really neat about this is that this isn't just for therapists. You know, this is for anyone who's ever kind of wondered, like, what's going on with our minds? How are we going to be treating our minds in the future?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to be talking about everything from, like self-help apps to breakthroughs in neuroscience, even a little bit of spirituality.
Okay.
Yeah, so get ready for some surprising findings.
Yeah.
I think, first off, we'll talk about which therapy approaches are predicted to kind of be the next big thing. Like, will mindfulness take over the world?
That's a good question.
Right. And then, maybe some of them will kind of fade away a little bit. And then we're also going to be talking about the role of technology, because obviously that's only going to get bigger.
Of course.
Get ready for your smartphone therapist. But maybe the biggest takeaway from all of this is what the experts say matters more than the type of therapy that you're using.
Oh, interesting.
I know, right? So to help us unpack all of this, I've got an expert here with me today who can help us connect the dots between, like, the research and what it actually means in the real world.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. All right, so first things first, let's talk about the therapies themselves.
Okay.
So the Delphi poll reveals some interesting trends. For instance, mindfulness-based therapies, like everyone's talking about mindfulness these days.
It's everywhere.
It is. So I feel like therapists are embracing that even more.
Absolutely.
What do you think? Like, why is mindfulness gaining so much traction?
I think it really resonates with our modern lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
It's so overloaded and frantic, and mindfulness just helps us slow down,
Right.
be present, manage our stress.
It's almost like therapy is finally catching up with,
Yeah.
our crazy world.
Our crazy busy world.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And the poll also predicts a surge in other approaches like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT.
Right.
That, problem-solving style of therapy.
Exactly. CBT, it focuses on changing those negative thought patterns and behaviors. And it's known to be pretty effective for issues like anxiety and depression.
Mm-hmm.
And it's adaptable, and therapists are incorporating it more and more.
It's like therapy is getting an upgrade.
Yeah.
So then the question is, what about those other approaches that seem a little outdated?
Like lying on the couch.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Like for years and years,
Yeah.
spilling all your childhood secrets.
Right.
What do the experts say about that?
Well, it seems like they're predicting a decline in those more traditional psychodynamic therapies,
Okay.
like classical psychoanalysis. And instead, we're seeing a shift to more shorter-term and focused therapies,
Okay.
that really address specific problems and give people tools to manage their mental health.
So less about the past and more about right now, finding solutions for what's happening right now.
Right.
Okay, so we've got a sense of the therapy styles themselves, but what about the bigger picture? Like, what about mental health care as a whole?
Right. The big picture.
Yeah, this chapter lays out 12 key trends that are basically going to shape the future of this whole field. So,
Okay, buckle up.
yeah, buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, so trend number 1 is the economics of mental health care.
Oh, interesting.
Right. This is where things get a little complicated because they're talking about this term, the industrialization
The industrialization.
of mental health care.
Okay.
So what does that even mean?
Well, it means that managed care and cost effectiveness are becoming more important.
Oh, I see.
So, shorter sessions maybe,
Huh?
more use of technology, a greater emphasis on proving that therapy actually works.
It's like therapy has to prove its worth.
Yeah, in a world that's obsessed with results.
Exactly.
Well, bottom line.
Yeah. But hopefully this will also lead to some good things like making therapy more efficient.
Right. Definitely therapists are adapting.
Yeah.
And they're finding new ways to prove their value.
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings us to trend number 2, evidence-based practice.
EBP.
EBP, for those in the know.
Yeah.
This is all about making sure that therapy is rooted in research, which makes sense.
Right. Yeah, of course you want to know that what you're getting is actually going to work.
Exactly.
It's been tested.
Yeah. But isn't there a concern that maybe evidence-based practice is a little too rigid?
Right.
Like that it doesn't leave room for, like, the uniqueness of each person.
That's a good point. There's a balance,
Yeah.
between using research-backed treatments and recognizing that everyone's journey is different.
Right.
The best therapists can do both.
Okay.
They can kind of bring the research and then personalize it.
So it's not just following a script. It's about using the research as a guide.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. Trend number 3, the therapy relationship.
Ooh.
This one might surprise you.
Okay, I'm listening.
So the experts emphasize that how therapy is delivered is just as important as what techniques are being used.
Interesting.
And here's the big takeaway. The therapist-client relationship, that is huge.
Huge. That's what makes it work.
Yeah.
It's been shown over and over again.
So it's about having a good rapport with your therapist, feeling understood.
Feeling understood, yeah.
And working together towards goals.
Absolutely.
So even with all this technology and research, the human connection is still so important.
Absolutely. Qualities like empathy.
Yeah.
A strong alliance, a shared understanding of goals. Those things make a big difference.
It's not just about finding the right therapy. It's also about finding the right therapist for you.
Exactly. Someone you feel comfortable with.
So you can open up to.
Yeah.
All right. Trend number 4. This is a big one. Technology.
Here we go.
Yeah. Telehealth, mental health apps, online counseling. It's exploding.
It really is.
It's like therapy is going digital.
Yeah.
Which has some amazing potential.
Yeah.
Think about it. You can access therapy from your own home any time of day or night.
Yeah, it's revolutionary.
Yeah.
It's making therapy more accessible and convenient, especially for people who might have barriers, like location or stigma.
Yeah, but of course there are some downsides, right?
Sure.
Like not all apps are created equal.
Right. Are they regulated?
Yeah, exactly. And privacy and security, and can technology really replace that human connection that we were just talking about?
Right. All important considerations.
Yeah. So it's about using technology responsibly, ethically, and knowing its limitations.
Yeah, being discerning.
Okay, trend number 5, self-help resources. This one's close to my heart because I love a good self-help book.
Who doesn't?
Right. So the experts predict this is going to continue to play a major role in the future of psychotherapy.
Yeah.
Books, websites, apps, support groups. It's like a whole universe of resources now.
Absolutely.
So it's like therapy is becoming more accessible, more empowering.
And people can take charge of their own well-being.
Yeah. I mean, I've used self-help resources myself, and I know how valuable they can be.
Of course.
And it can complement therapy, right?
Exactly.
Or be used on its own.
Yeah. Sometimes people find relief just from these resources.
Right.
And then some people use it as a starting point.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then trend number 6, this is where it gets really interesting, ties into self-help beautifully. Neuroscience.
Neuroscience.
So brain imaging studies are like giving us this window into how therapy actually works. Like it's changing the structure and function of our brains.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
We're beginning to understand how therapy can literally rewire our neural pathways, and lead to lasting changes in our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors.
So therapy is like giving our brain a makeover.
It is.
So you're saying therapy is actually changing the physical makeup of our brains.
It is.
That's amazing.
And it really challenges this idea that mental health is about willpower and weakness.
Like you're just not trying hard enough?
Yeah, it's rooted in our brain function.
It's like therapy is finally getting the scientific street cred that it deserves?
Yeah.
Okay, we've covered a lot already.
We have.
But there are 6 more trends to go. So let's just take a quick pause, catch our breath, and we'll be back in a jiffy.
Sounds good. So we've talked about all these changes happening, with mindfulness and technology and stuff.
Yeah, it's like therapy's getting a total 21st century makeover.
Right.
But we've only just begun.
We're just getting started.
Yeah. Are you ready to dive back into those 12 trends?
Let's do it.
Okay, trend number 7, personalized psychotherapy. This one's all about, recognizing that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to mental health.
Exactly. You can't just treat everyone the same.
Yeah. So instead of just saying, okay, here's the therapy for depression, therapists are taking a more personalized approach.
Right. Looking at the whole person.
Yeah. So like personality, cultural background, values, goals.
It's like tailoring a suit.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. A custom fit.
Yeah, a custom fit for your therapy. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Okay. Trend number 8, well-being.
Okay.
This one's all about shifting the focus from just reducing symptoms to promoting a sense of like flourishing in life.
Right. It's about thriving, not just surviving.
Yeah. So instead of just focusing on what's wrong, it's about helping people cultivate their strengths, build resilience, and live more meaningful lives.
Yes. And there are some really cool interventions for this.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
like mindfulness training,
Okay.
gratitude exercises, and strength-based approaches.
So it's like therapy is becoming more like a toolkit
Yeah,
for building a good life, not just fixing what's broken.
exactly.
Okay, trend number 9. This one's a little bit more complex, combines psychotherapy and pharmacotherapy.
Right, so this is about the fact that sometimes combining therapy with medication can be the most effective approach,
Okay.
particularly for things like depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder.
So it's not about saying one is better than the other.
Right.
It's about finding the right combination.
Exactly. It's a team effort
Okay.
with therapists and psychiatrists working together.
But it's important to be careful and thoughtful about this, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like making sure it's the right approach for the person.
Right.
And that the medication and therapy are working well together.
Yeah, and communication is key
Yeah.
between the client, the therapist, and the psychiatrist.
Okay, trend number 10 brings us back to that more holistic view of well-being, integrative health.
Right. So this acknowledges the connection between our mental and physical health.
So it's all connected.
It's all connected. Therapists are looking at things like nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress management.
It's like therapy is acknowledging that our minds and bodies are not separate. They work together.
They do.
So it's not just about talking. It's about creating a lifestyle
The lifestyle.
that supports mental well-being.
A healthy lifestyle.
Okay, trend number 11 shifts the focus from the individual to the collective proactive treatment of populations.
Okay, so this is about moving beyond just reacting to mental health issues.
Okay.
Waiting for people to come to us for help. Instead, therapists are reaching out
Wow.
to entire populations, especially those at high risk.
So it's like therapy is going on the offensive,
It is.
trying to prevent problems before they even start.
Exactly. And this is really exciting because it could really reduce the burden of mental illness and improve well-being in communities.
It's like a public health approach
It is.
to mental health.
Absolutely.
And finally, trend number 12. This is a good one. Psychotherapy works.
It does.
This is a powerful reminder that even with all the challenges and stigma around mental health, the research is clear. Therapy is effective.
It works for a wide range of issues.
It's a message of hope
It is.
that there are treatments out there and that seeking help can really make a difference.
Absolutely, it can change your life.
Okay, so we've explored these 12 key trends, but I want to hear your thoughts on something the authors mentioned that really struck me, the idea that psychotherapy might be called brain therapy in the future
Oh, wow.
because of this growing understanding of its impact on our brains.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, the more we learn about the brain, the more we see that therapy isn't just talking.
Right.
It's literally changing our brain.
It's like a brain workout,
Yeah.
building those neural pathways and changing how we think and feel and behave.
Absolutely. And I think that has big implications for how we view mental health.
Yeah.
It challenges the stigma and shows how important professional help is.
It's like therapy is finally getting the scientific recognition it deserves. Okay, so we've covered a lot in our exploration of the future of psychotherapy, but now let's bring it back to you, the listener. What does this all mean for, the person who's trying to understand and improve their mental health?
Well, here are a few things to keep in mind. First, remember that you have more options than ever before.
That's true.
There's traditional therapy, telehealth apps, self-help resources.
It's almost overwhelming.
It can be, but it also means there's probably something out there that's a good fit for you.
Yeah, you just got to find what works for you,
Right.
what fits your needs.
Exactly.
Wow.
And second, don't underestimate the power of that therapeutic relationship.
Yeah.
Finding a therapist you connect with, who you feel comfortable with, can make all the difference.
It's like having a guide
It is.
on your journey.
A trusted guide.
Yeah. And third, remember that therapy is becoming more holistic,
Yes.
more integrated, recognizing that mind-body connection and those lifestyle factors that we were talking about.
Exactly. So it's not just about talking, it's about creating a life that supports well-being.
Yeah. Okay, those are some really powerful takeaways. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a question to ponder. We've talked a lot about these expert predictions, but what about your hopes and dreams for the future of mental health care? What innovations or changes would you like to see that would make therapy even more effective, more accessible, and more empowering?
That's a great question. I think it's important to remember that the future of mental health care is not set in stone.
Oh, that's true.
It's something we're creating right now.
Yeah.
Through our choices, our advocacy, and our willingness to challenge the status quo.
So let's use this knowledge to advocate for a future where mental health is prioritized, where support is available to everyone, and where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
That's a beautiful vision.
And on that note, we'll leave you to continue your own exploration of this fascinating topic.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of psychotherapy. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep taking care of your mental well-being. You know, one thing we haven't really talked about is this idea of a more proactive approach to mental health care.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, so like instead of just waiting for people to come to therapy, what if therapy went out into the world?
I like that.
Yeah.
Right? Like meeting people where they're at?
It's a shift from that traditional model of just waiting in our offices.
Right.
It's about seeing mental health as a public health issue.
Yeah, so it's like we need to be more proactive.
We do.
Kind of like how we do with physical health.
Exactly.
Like we encourage checkups and screenings.
Right. Preventative care.
So what if we did that for mental health?
Well, there's evidence that this can be really effective.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know, like, for example, proactive programs for smoking cessation.
Okay.
They've had some good results, you know. They increase participation rates.
Yeah.
Improve outcomes.
That makes sense. If you make it easier for people to access support,
Right.
they're more likely to use it.
Exactly. And we're seeing similar things with programs for other mental health issues.
Like what?
Depression, anxiety, substance abuse.
So it's about breaking down those barriers
Exactly.
and making support more accessible.
Yes. And relevant to people's needs.
But we also have to remember that not everyone's ready to jump right into therapy, right?
That's true.
Like some people might need a little more time or a different approach.
Absolutely. Change is a process.
Yeah.
We have to meet people where they are in that process.
So it's about offering support that's right for them at that moment.
Yes, empowering them to take control at their own pace.
Okay, so we've talked about so much today, from mindfulness and technology to neuroscience and proactive care. But I think it all boils down to this one key message. Psychotherapy works.
It really does.
And I think that's so important to remember.
Absolutely, especially now,
Yeah.
when mental health services are often underfunded and undervalued.
Right. So we need to be advocating for more access to care.
We do.
Making sure everyone can benefit from therapy.
It's an investment.
Yeah, an investment in well-being.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to ask you, the listener, how are you investing in your own mental well-being?
That's a great question.
Yeah. What steps can you take, big or small, to prioritize your mental health and seek support when you need it?
You deserve to thrive.
Absolutely. And don't forget, the future of mental health care is not set in stone.
Right. We're all creating it together.
Yeah. So let's advocate for change, support research, and challenge stigma.
It's an exciting time to be involved in mental health.
It really is. And on that note, we'll leave you to continue exploring this amazing and complex world. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of psychotherapy. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep taking care of your mental well-being.